begin. Welcome to City Planning.
Okay. Roll call. Be Chair Dillon,
Here.
Vice Chair Barry. Here. Commissioner Bubbas, Commissioner Bynum.
Here.
Commissioner Cox.
Here.
Commissioner Finney,
Here.
Commissioner Hamilton, Commissioner Leahy,
Here.
Commissioner Latour,
Here.
and Commissioner May. You have a quorum.
Thank you.
Madam Chair, I move for approval of the minutes of the October 6, 2016 meeting of the Little Rock Planning Commission.
All in favor? And all opposed? Okay, our minutes for October 6th will pass. We are ready, Mr. Moore.
Following is the consent agenda. Little Rock Planning Commission Planning Rezoning Conditional Use Hearing of November 17th, 2016. You have two items on consent deferral. Item A, file number Z9166, Naomi's House Group Home Special Use Permit, 217 Auburn Drive. On November 17th, the applicant submitted a letter to staff requesting deferral of this application to the January 5th, 2017 agenda. Staff supports that request. You need a bylaw waiver to accept the request for deferral, being less than 5 days prior to the public hearing. Item number 2, Z9177, Newton Parolee Probationary Housing Facility Special Use Permit, 1423 South Elm Street. On November 16th, the applicant submitted a letter to staff requesting deferral of the application to the January 5th, 2017 agenda. Staff supports that request. A bylaw waiver is also needed on this one, on this request being less than 5 working days prior to the public hearing. Next are the items on consent approval. Item 1, Z9176, Newton Parolee Probationary Housing Facility Special Use Permit, 1709 East 19th Street. Staff recommends approval of the requested SUP to operate a parolee probationary housing facility with a maximum of 4 residents at 1709 East 19th Street. Item number 3, LA 73, West Highland Edition, lots 51, 52, 61, and 62, advanced grading variance, north side of Canis Road, west of Shackleford Road. Staff recommends approval of the advanced grading variance request, subject to compliance with the comments and conditions as outlined in paragraph D of the agenda staff report. In addition to paragraph D, the variance request is subject to compliance with the following condition, and that would be a grading permit in accordance with sections 29-186C and D will be required prior to any land clearing or grading activities at the site. And the final item on consent approval is item 5, which is the adoption of the 2017 Planning Commission calendar. That concludes the consent agenda.
Thank you, Mr. Moore.
Madam Chair, I'd like to first move for waiver of the bylaws to allow deferral of items A and 2.
All in favor? All opposed? Bylaws will pass.
Okay. Madam Chair, I'd like to move for approval of the consent agenda as read by staff with all staff recommendations therein.
All in favor? All opposed? The consent agenda will pass. Thank you. So that leaves one item for our regular agenda. Mr. Moore, would you like to tell us what that item will be, please?
Mr. Malone's going to present item number 4.
If your item was called, you are free to go or you may stay. And the, I'm not sure which item you ladies are here for.
They're just observing.
Okay. We're ready.
Okay, Madam Chair and Commission, item 4 is a package of changes that is for the southwest portion of the city, south of Interstate 30 and generally west of Interstate 530. As you know, periodically we bring a package of changes for different sectors of the city to you, mostly as cleanup potential changes in and trying to make the land use plan a little bit more accurate based on how currently the plan's being used and zoned. So with that, there are 8 change areas, and there's the overall map that shows you the 8 change areas. Area 1 is just outside of the town of Alexander, and it's the only tract that is that's on in between the railroad tracks and Interstate 30 that's not shown for a non-residential use. And so right now, it's shown as mobile home on the land use plan. It's not developed. And so what we're proposing to do is to change that small sort of triangular area right there in between the creek and the railroad tracks to service trades district. I'm having trouble talking at the moment. Sorry about that. So that's the change for Area 1. Area 2 is up the freeway at Vimy Ridge, and it's two areas on Vimy Ridge, either side of Alexander Road. The northern area, Area 2A, is either side of the railroad tracks there. The southern part is totally developed and is zoned I3. The whole area is shown as light industrial, but the property to the south is shown as industrial I. So the proposal is to change this area to I also. The I3 is our most intense zoning classification. The area on the north side of the tracks is not developed, but there is, as you see, the land use plan shows industrial on the other side of Vimy Ridge there at the freeway. So this would show that whole area as industrial rather than some light industrial and some industrial. Then to the south there, the proposal is to change an area of mixed office commercial and to public institutional. That property, and you see there's a PI down there to the southeast of this. That whole area is owned by the electric company. It's a power substation, basically, emergency power substations, hundreds of acres. And so this is just a portion of their ownership, the only portion of their ownership that's not shown for PI. So this would change that the way the rest of it's shown on the plan. Then the next area is down Alexander Road, in between the South Loop and Sardis Road on the north side. There's an area that's shown on the plan as commercial, and the proposal is to change it to STD. This is a zoning map there, and you see there's an I-1 there. I-1 is a zoning that would allow uses that are appropriate for service trades. It's not the majority of the area is not zoned commercially currently, and so we feel like it would be better to show this area as service trades rather than commercial on the land use plan along the frontage of Alexander Road. This would still leave a commercial area at both intersections, both at the South Loop and Alexander Road and at Sardis and Alexander Road. We'd still have commercial at both intersections. So the next area in the proposed changes is just inside the city limits. That's again, in between a creek and an abandoned railroad tracks there, just west of Arch Street Pike. That property has recently been acquired by the city of Little Rock, and this park's urban forestry program has moved to that site. So it's being used for parks-related purposes. It's not a park where you and I go and play, but it's a support facility for the city park system. So we would like to show that as PKOS on the land use plan. The next area is down Arch Street Pike, just south of Dixon Road. On the east side in this location is a variety of commercial uses. It's shown on the land use plan as industrial. This is an area in our jurisdiction outside of our city limits where we have no zoning. So we don't have any control of the uses in this area, but the commercial more accurately reflects what's there on the ground. And on the other side, that's land that the city of Little Rock owns, and that's the police training facility. So we would like to change that from park open space to PI, since that's the training facility for the Little Rock Police Department. Then if we go to the next area, it's further down Arch Street Pike. This is an area at the southern extent of our planning jurisdiction. There's commercial shown on the land use plan at Pratt Road up to the north, and this from that commercial node at Pratt and Highway and the state highway there, which is Arch Street Pike, to the south, to the extent of our jurisdiction at Atwood, is shown as residential low density now, but it's a mix of uses. There are some homes there, but there are also businesses. So we're proposing to change the land use plan in this area, as we've done on the north side of Pratt, to mixed use, since it truly is a mix of uses. And again, there's no zoning in this area, so if somebody wanted to convert a use, they could without any public review at all. So mixed use is what we'd like to show it on this area. The next area is also outside of our zoning jurisdiction. It's on Dixon Road at Dreer Lane. On the north there, that's a church and a cemetery. It's currently shown as mining. It's probably going to stay a church and a cemetery, so we would like to change that to public institutional. On the other side is a nursing home or rehabilitation center, a couple houses and a couple businesses. It's been that way since I moved to Arkansas almost 30 years ago. And so we don't think that's likely to change. Again, that's shown as mining. It truly is a mix of uses, and we would like to show that as mixed use. On the other corner there of Dreer and Dixon, again, shown as mining currently, we'd like to show that as commercial. There's a very large U-Pullet there. And there's some of it's vacant land, but the uses that are existing there are commercial. And the part that's not developed is the part that's closest to Dreer Lane, and so that's the most likely area that would continue to be commercial in the future. And then the next area is also an extraterritorial area. It's way out on Ironton Cutoff Road in Dreer Lane, very near Interstate 530 is just off this map to the east. And if you drive out there, that large building there is a church. It's currently shown as residential low density, basically single family. And on the north side is a cemetery. So again, we would like to show this as PI, since we've got a large church and a cemetery in that location. So that's the package of changes that we're proposing to make. If you have any questions, I'll be willing to answer any questions you might have. Oh, we did notify all property owners. There were some additional changes, in this package that were removed at the request of property owners. So including with that commercial to STD, that was a bigger area, and one of the property owners at the South Loop asked that stay commercial at the intersection. So we're honoring that request. That's one of the requests.
Okay, thank you. Commissioners, do you have any questions?
I'd like to ask one, please.
Okay, go ahead.
What about the South Loop? Are we ever going to build it, or it's going to just be a figment of some people's imagination?
You want to answer that? That's the public works is going to have to answer that question, because that's an implementation question. As you know, that portion of the South Loop had very recently been built, and it was built partially to give another overpass over the freeway. But I cannot tell you, we do own land in between Sardis and Hinkey. We own the right-of-way already. So we do own some, we do own some additional land within the corridor, but as far as I know, there's no timeline to build another segment of the South Loop beyond what's currently been built.
Well, I went to a meeting in 1988, and it was a big topic of discussion, and we're going to build a South Loop.
And it still hadn't, except for that one segment, it still hadn't been built. Yes, you're correct. I think the city had hoped at one time that maybe the highway department might take that as a highway project, and the highway department's not willing to do that. So it's going to be a city project.
Any other questions, commissioners? We'll need a motion.
Madam Chair, I move for approval of item 4 as read by staff.
All in favor? And all opposed? That will pass. So now we have time for any citizen communication. Sure, come on in.
Hopefully I'm not late, actually. I live over in the neighborhood over on Amherst Road, and there was a petition, I think, to change a property over on Auburn Street into a home for troubled girls.
That item was item A, and that was deferred until January the 5th.
Okay.
So we will need you to fill out a card
Uh-huh.
so that you can be notified of the
Yeah.
new date.
Okay.
Okay?
Okay.
Thank
Happy-
you for coming.
Thank you.
Sorry you came and it was deferred.
Better than nothing, right? Gotta try.
Okay. So, any other? Thank you all for coming.
And
We are,
just-
oh, I'm sorry.
Again, no informal meeting on December 1st, so your next meeting will be December 15th.
Thank you. Happy Thanksgiving. We are adjourned.